devices that you can put on your gutter that does filter it really well and gets rid of all the stuff from your asphalt shingles. And then it goes into a water catchment, and then from the water catchment you take it and you bring it in and you filter it through a Berkey. You boil it because the rain that comes through the air, that's bringing any kind of contaminant that's in the air, and it's going to be in your water. So you can do water catchment for drinking from your roof, but unless you have a good filter system right to begin with from your roof, I wouldn't drink the water from an asphalt shingle. But you can use it for other means. But like I said, if you go on YouTube and you look for, or just Google downspout filters for water catchment, it'll have some examples on there of what I'm talking about, and then you would probably be able to drink that water once, like I said, you either use bleach, you boil it and probably put it through a Berkey or something similar like a Berkey. And we'll look at all these things in a little bit too. Let's see, where was I? You can also, okay, you can collect water into a barrel. This is off of your gutters. You can collect water into a barrel, a kiddie pool, 5-gallon buckets, and etc. placed under the downspout. You can also rig up a collection system using a tarp with 4 posts and a barrel, bucket, etc. Attach the tarp to the 4 posts. So spread the tarp out, put your 4 posts, 4 corners, and then you let the center of the tarp hang down somewhat to form a basin in the tarp in the center, and keep it off the ground so that as rain hits the tarp, it is above the ground for several feet. Place your bucket under the center of the tarp and make a small hole for the rain to run through and into the bucket. Rain or snow water should be boiled or sanitized with bleach if you're going to drink that. But that, you can actually get a lot of water that way, just from a tarp system. So that is something that's really easy to do, and probably with some things that you have in your garage or your basement. So then we're going to go to purification. Pre-filter, boil, sanitize, and filter. And that's what we want to do. That's the sequence we want to go through, especially if you're getting it off something like your roof, or even from a lake. So let's say you are going to take some water from a lake or a river. You really want to pre-filter it before you use anything like a life straw, or this is very similar to a life straw. It's a Sawyer Mini, or a Berkey. But what you want to do is you want to get rid of that sediment first. And one way you can do it, this is a small way, this is something that I could bring in to show you small, but you could make something bigger also. This is just a coffee filter with a strainer, and you can pour the water through that and get rid of the sediment first. Now you can use something bigger. You can use a clean t-shirt or a clean dish towel or something like that in a bigger strainer or something, so that you can maybe strain into a 5-gallon bucket versus this maybe just going into a glass or something. But I didn't want to bring all that stuff in. So I do recommend, or it is recommended, to pre-filter your water before you put it into something like this. This is a life straw. You can actually put lake water or river water or water from an outside source like that into this. You just scoop it in there, and then you just put this on and you can drink that, and this filter will filter down to, this one actually goes down to, I believe, 0.01. It's either 0.01 or 0.02. I know the other life straw goes to 0.02, but I think this one was 0.01. So that's pretty clean water. You would probably feel pretty safe drinking out of a lake or a river out of this travel tumbler. There's also a life straw that is kind of like the Mini. It's a little bit cheaper than the Sawyer Mini. It's half the price, but the Sawyer Mini will filter down to 0.01, which is really pretty good. And this one has really good reviews on it. It's really a good little filter. The one thing I like about this versus the other life straw that is, so the other life straw looks like this, but it's long like this. And what you have to do is you have to actually go down to the lake or the river and put the straw in there, and then you can drink. You know, it's mainly for camping or that type of thing, for people to drink while they're out in the wild. This one, however, it costs twice as much. This one's like between $27 and $30, depending upon where you go. This one actually comes with its own bladder that you can attach to it, that you can scoop the water from the lake or whatever into, and then it attaches to the bottom of this. It screws on like this. And then you can carry this with you. So that's kind of handy. That's why I like this one better than the Life straw. Other than this is kind of cool too. But this also will screw right onto an empty water bottle or an empty Coke or pop bottle, and then you can carry that with you. And it has a cap on the top so you don't lose the water. Now, also, what I like about the Sawyer Mini is that it has a back flushing plunger, which the Life straw doesn't have. So you just put clean water in here, not dirty water. You make sure it's your filtered water you use, and then you put that on your drinking end, like that, and then you push the clean water through the filter. And you do that a couple of times after you use it to get any kind of sediment or anything out of here. Because if you don't do that, after you use these filters for a few times, it gets clogged up, and pretty soon you can't even get anything out of the, out of where you drink out of anymore. It gets so clogged up. So this one is really nice one. It's called the Sawyer Mini. And I do have the listed on all these items, or most of these items, on your paper here. But like I said, this one's about $30. We carry one of these with us wherever we go. And in a few weeks, we're actually going to go through one of our sessions will be on having a get home or bug out bag and what to put in there, because like we talked about earlier with the EMP, we don't know that the vehicles are even going to run during if an EMP happens. Some people say, yeah, the vehicles will run, and some people say, well, no, it's all electronic, so they're not going to. I don't want to find out the hard way and be 60 miles away from home, and it's 90 degrees outside, and I got to walk the whole way home without any water, without any clean water, So we both have one of these, and it's full of stuff. This is our get home bag. It's full of stuff to get us home. I've got food in there, Mountain House food that it's just in a packet. If you've never seen it, it's in a little packet. It's like a 2-serving thing, and you just pour water in it, and it's freeze dried. And you try to pour hot water in it, but if you can't, you can use cold water, and it just takes longer to rehydrate, and you've got food to get home, because you're going to need to eat if you're 60 miles away from home. I've got more stuff in his bag than mine because he works farther away from home. So if it's going to take him 4 or 5 days to get home, he's going to need water and food to get home for those 4 or 5 days to get home. So we'll go through that in a few weeks about what to put in a get home bag or a bug out bag.
How often do you have to change things out?
Well, I've only changed some things out once. When did I create these? A couple years ago. The food that I have in the Mountain House, that's 30-year shelf life. So that I don't have to take out. I'll be dead before.
I represent that remark.
There's other things in there. I do have like snacky things in there that are usually good for a certain amount of time, like Slim Jims,
Peanuts.
Things like that I put in there.
Stuff with protein.
Protein bars, things like that.
Sure.
And those don't have as much of a shelf life. And we both have our bags, or we did, in the house now, so that I can go through them and get rid of that old stuff and put new stuff in. And so what? I throw it away, Yeah, I throw a few things away that might be stale now, but at least we were prepared if something happened,
Yeah.
So these are good. This one is, I didn't put it together because I bought it and we have never used it. Some people use, it's called a Berkey. Some people use these every day just to remove the chlorine and fluoride out of their city water, especially if they have children. We just bought a smaller one because it's just the two of us. If we still had the kids at home, I probably would have bought the really big one. They have like 3 or 4 different sizes. So depending upon how many people are in your family or in your household, you might want to get a bigger one. But these are an excellent filter. These are probably the best on the market. However, they've had some legal issues in the last few months, and right now you can't even buy a Berkey on their website. They're all out of stock. Well, they're all out of production right now, and it's over their filters, and it's because somebody said that there was, I think it was aluminum in their filter or something. Anyway, their filters are the same as, what's the other, there's like 3 or 4 other companies that make something similar to this, and the filters are the same, but they never went after the other companies that make these same things. They just went after Berkey. So why that is, I don't know, but Berkey, is that you? Berkey is a good filter. You can still get these on Amazon, and I'm sure Berkey will sell them again as soon as they get through with this stupid lawsuit. But right now you can get them on Amazon, but they're for like $500. And I don't even know if you can get the Berkey filter.
So the filter fits in this.
The filter actually goes in where these 2 holes are. Okay, there's 2 filters. This one just has 2 filters. The bigger ones you can put 4 filters in, and they also sell a filter for removing the chlorine and fluoride.
So it's kind of like a canister. And you fill that with water, and it goes through the filters, and this is your reservoir that the water leaves.
So this hole is for a spigot, which is all in the box, but like I said, I didn't put it together. So you just put your pond water or whatever in here, and it drips down, and it takes a few hours to do it. You know, if you do it at night, by morning you've got, you know, a gallon of water. So this is a really good system right here. It's very simple. I don't know why they charge so much, but they do this.
If it's
They can
$500
get
on
it.
Amazon, what's it normally?
I think we paid like $220 for that one.
And 2 something.
And that was a few years ago, you know, probably, it was before COVID, when everything went up. But the bigger ones, of course, a little bit more. I think the biggest one was probably like $3.99 back then, but you know. So hopefully they'll come back into production, but you can still get, I'm trying to think of what the other one is called. Alexa Pure, yes. Was it on your list?
Yeah.
Alexa Pure.
Oh.
And you can get that on My Patriot Supply for $199.95 and up, depending upon what size. And Walmart also has the Alexa Pure for $235, Amazon for $279. And it is very, very similar to this. I really don't know why people say that Berkey is better, but it's very similar. And there's another off-brand now too that's even cheaper, and I'm sure they all do the same things. So this we'll talk about in a little while. So we went through the Berkey, Alexa Pure, the Sawyer, the Life Straw. So like I said too, coffee filters, you know, if you don't have things like this, I do suggest getting one of these. I really do. And putting it in your glove box and leaving it there. Or ladies, put it in your purse and leave it there. You know, just take it out of the package because it takes up a lot of room.
I mean, the bigger purse.
A bigger purse, see, that's why I have to have a big purse. Huh?
$400 was the Alexa Pure, I see on My Patriot. Unless they got different stuff.
My Patriot Supply, I saw it for $199.95 unless they went up since last night.
It's
or
just
a
different
couple of days.
sizes of them.
There are different sizes.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, people even use these on their kitchen counter for everyday use. So we have well water and we have a house filter, so we don't.
Does it filter about the same as what you have in your hand? The Berkey? Down to like 0 point whatever?
I don't remember,
Oh.
but yeah, I'm sure it does even better than this
Oh.
because the filters are, you know, a lot better, but, if this does point 0.01, I think I said, I would assume that this probably does that too. It's like 99999, you know, whatever. So, but, you know, you can always do some research on that, if you want, but if you don't go and get something like this, which I really, really suggest you have somewhere where you go all the time, even if you make a get home bag, like I'm gonna show you in a few weeks, have 1 or 2 of these in there. I have both of these in my get home bag all the time, plus a whole bunch of pop bottles. I have probably 4, because then, if I am walking home, let's say we're down in the cities, you know, something happens and our vehicle can't get us home, and,
You find a water source because you don't know where your next water source might be.
so you fill up a bunch of pop bottles, or, you know, the bladder, or was it the bladder in here, and fill up whatever you have and pack it down inside your get home bag, then you've got water for a while. You don't have to stop and look for water again for a while, you know. So I keep like about 4 of these, and Bob has about 4 of these, plus the bladder, whatever, and then I've got this, which I can fill up with water. And things like this are kind of nice because you can actually hook it on the outside of your get home bag, you know, and while you're walking, you can just flip it off and drink water. You don't have to go open up your bag. And so those work really nice. So that being said, we're going to watch our videos before we
Melt into your holiday moments with Lindor from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
At SimpliSafe, we designed the #1 rated home security system powered by 24/7 professional monitoring.
So that, at the end, that said that will not, filter out any chemicals or anything like that. The Berkey will. It will filter out chemicals. I'm not gonna guarantee that it'll filter out every chemical. Just like on one of the videos we're gonna watch, like I said, the guy used pool water and he said it tasted fine and he tested it on his kids. And they said it tastes like Berkey water, which, you know, they use theirs every day, so maybe it would be fine to do pool water. I just wouldn't wanna use it for that. But this will do more than this or this. These are made more for when you're out and about and you're caught. This is more for at home. But even using this, I would still filter. Of course, I would use a bigger filter, but if you're gonna use pond water, lake water, river, ditch water, I would filter it out with a coffee filter or a clean dish towel, clean t-shirt or whatever to get the sediment out, because that stuff will clog up these filters. So to get a lot more use out of your filters, always filter out that sediment first. So we're going to go to the next one, which would be the Sawyer Mini, that's the one that I like.
Nothing is more important than your health. It empowers you to live out your dream.
Hi everyone, this is Cody, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Sawyer Mini water filter. Okay, so this water filter costs about $20. You can get it in quite a few places, and it comes with all this stuff. So I don't have the original box, but I just put it all in a plastic bag. So you have the water filter itself. So it has a 0.1 micron in size. And it filters out all the bacteria and bad stuff that you don't want in your water that would make you sick. The one thing it doesn't do is not going to deal with chemicals, oil and gasoline and heavy metals, and pesticides and stuff. So if you're in the middle of the city, this might not be the best thing, but for the backcountry it's great. And if I didn't mention it filters up to 100,000 gallons, then it comes with this straw so you can drink directly from the water source. Comes with a bag, a water bag, so you can put water in that. I just have a rubber band around it. Lid for the bag, and a back flushing system. So you fill this with clean water, and then flush the thing out backwards, and that'll keep it clean longer and make it last a long time. Okay, so there's a few methods for doing this. You could just put the straw on, drink directly from there. Or what I'm going to do is use the bag. So you just stick the bag underwater. It works best with a running water source, but I'm going to see if this will work. That's no problem. It's not going to be easy to get water from the standing water source, so we're going to have to pour water in the bag.
That didn't work either.
I like the shoes.
Okay, so I finally have some water in the bag. I would recommend bringing something so you can pour the water in if you're going to be drinking from standing water, or if you have a running water source, that'll work better. So now what I'm going to do is take the water filter and screw it on here, like that, onto the bag. So now you could just drink from this, or we can squeeze it into something, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze it into here. That might help to take the cap off.
They do make a squeeze one too. You actually squeeze the tube itself.
He's gonna be dead before you.
So there we go. There's some water. It looks nice and clean, a lot better than it looked out in the thing. So now I'm gonna try and drink some. Okay, so now I'm gonna have some. We'll see how it is.
Is that Cody from Bridgecom?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Wait for it.
So as you can see, it just tastes
Yep.
like
That's
ordinary
him.
water.
It is him.
So that's pretty good.
But they hired him because he lived.
It looks
Okay, so
really
now that
good.
we've tried it out, it seemed to work great. The water tasted good, and I'm happy with it. So what we want to do now, just to clean it out after the use, is I filtered some water into this. So this is clean water. Now I'm going to take the plunger, fill it up with water. Now we have water in here, and then we're going to do reverse flow on this. So we're going to go backwards and do this a few times, and it should get all the gunk that's in it out. So that was, it looked somewhat dirty that time, and it started to get more clear.
As I say, you can see
So we'll
the
do that
gunk
one more
coming out.
time.
You can see the gunk coming out.
And this will help it if it's starting to slow down, not filter as fast. It should help with that as well. There we
200,000
go.
gallons, that thing will.
Back
For the
flush,
filter?
so now this is clean
100,000.
and ready to store. So another thing you should know, the way this filter is, you don't want to let it freeze. So if you're in a cold condition, you want to keep it like inside your jacket or in your sleeping bag at night, which is good because it's a really small size. You could even keep it in your pant pocket if you needed to. Now there's a few other modifications you can do with bottle caps and tubes. So you could make like a cap for the bottom, and it has a cap for the top. So then you could stick it in your pocket and it wouldn't leak all over the place. And you could also put it in like a water bladder in line. And then also, since it has threads on it, it'll fit most bags, and it'll fit on some water bottles as well, so you can use it with a variety of things. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video.
Like he said, you can carry this in your car if you've never used it. And it's freezing, it's not gonna hurt it as long as you've never used it before. Once you use it, you don't wanna leave it in freezing temperatures anymore because it will ruin it. So, you know, in that case, ladies, it'd be better out to have it in your purse, or guys,
Man bag.
whatever you carry, anything else you have, yeah.
How much those cost?
This one is, I did find it at Walmart for $22.98. Amazon, it was $23.20 and up. So,
That says on there 100,000 gallons.
as long as you take care of it,
Right.
back wash it.
Is there any difference between the blue and the green and the pink and?
I don't know why there's an orange one too, and I'm not sure if
Pink
it's
would be
just.
yours.
What's that? Can you hook that up to a 2-liter bottle?
It is.
I haven't tried. I'm not
It seems
sure.
like
I'm not sure.
My water.
You know, if that's the same size as that,
1,700.
probably.
then you probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. As long as you want to carry that around with you.
I'm thinking you could fill a 2-liter bottle a lot easier in a stream or something.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's got support.
Okay, we have one more video. Now this is the guy that uses the pool water, but it's still a good video, even though he uses pool water. Yeah, that must be it. So this is gonna be for like the Berkey or the Alexa Pure.
We're going to put the Berkey through its paces. We're going to test 3 different types of water and do a filter reliability test with our Berkey right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to filter from our rain retention system. Then we're going to filter swimming pool water. Then we're going to filter water from the 55-gallon drum in my garage that's been sitting there for 5 years. And as a bonus, we're going to go down to the creek, get a bucket full of ditch water, and filter it through the Berkey too. I'll say this right now, I believe the Berkey is the best water filter system on the market. We'll find out as we get the results from these tests. I could be wrong, but we're going to find out. A lot of the reviews about the Berkey were from people who use it with their rainwater collection system. This is my rainwater collection system, one of them. As you can see, we got the pipe coming down from the roof into the catchment system here, and we have a garden hose hooked up to it. If you haven't seen my rainwater catchment system video series, please watch that. We get 1,600 gallons of fresh, free rainwater with 1 inch of rain. This is our first flush system. It cleans out the sediment that comes off the roof when it first starts to rain, and then this is our catchment system here. A lot of people wonder how we actually know how much water is in here. Actually, it's very easy to do. We just turn on the hose here, and we will raise the water, or the hose, until the water stops. As you can see, the tanks are full. So anyway, we use this for drinking and for irrigation for the garden, and we're just filling up the 4-gallon bucket here. I'm going to take it in, and we're going to see how well the Berkey filters this rainwater. As you can see, it's very clean rainwater. Of course, we don't treat it at all, and when it comes off the roof. But before we drink it, we do put it in the Berkey. I'll let this finish filling up, and we'll put it in the Berkey. All right, we have our control bucket here. This is water from the garden hose, and this is the water out of the rain catchment system. You can see there's a difference in coloration. We're going to see if the Berkey takes care of filtering out the color and anything that's in the water that we don't want to drink. Here's our Royal Berkey. It's in our kitchen. It's on a 9-inch flower pot stand that my wife picked up at the store. We use the Berkey every day. It doesn't make sense to me to only drink good water in an emergency. We want to drink good water every day. So what we do is we take the water out of the faucet, put it in a gallon jug, take the lid off, and then we pour the water into here. It takes 3 times, and then my wife is a little bit shorter than me, so she just puts her fingers in here, she can fill the water. But I know when I fill up the jug 3 times, this holds 3 gallons, and it's filled up to the top. When you do fill up the Berkey, you do want to fill it to the top, so you're getting maximum filtration out of the filters. Inside we have 2 black Berkey filters. Those are the kind that I wholeheartedly recommend. Those will filter and purify the water. We've had this for about 6 months or so. According to Berkey, we should be cleaning the inside of this about every 6 months. We've never cleaned it so far, but as you can see, all it has is some condensation inside, and it's very nice and clean. So you can see inside of here, we're low on water. We can tell because on our little measuring indicator here, it shows that there's no water, so it's time to fill up. Okay, so I've got the rainwater retention water in there, and I don't know if you can hear it, but already you can hear it filtering through the filters inside and dripping down inside the filter. One thing I really like about the Berkey is how fast it filters the water. Another thing I really like about this particular Berkey is that it is stainless steel. I don't particularly care for how trendy the stainless steel is, but I really like it because no light gets inside of the Berkey, which means no algae growth inside of there in case the water's there for a long period of time. We go through the water pretty quickly. With my wife and me, we go through this every 2 days with several of us here in the house, seems like we're going through it more than once a day. So it looks like we're going to be adding a couple more filters so we can filter more water. We'll go ahead and let this filter through here. We'll come back here in just a few minutes after it's filtered through and see what it looks like and tastes like out of the faucet. Okay, it's been just under an hour. You can see here from where the indicator is how fast that fills up. It's one thing I really like about the Berkey is how fast it filters, and this only has 2 out of the 4 filters in there. So it looks like we've got at least a gallon here in the last hour. Let's see what it tastes like.
Tastes really good.
Tastes really good. Let me taste it here.
No burp?
It doesn't have a taste, it tastes like Berkey water.
Ah, it's the good Berkey water. And I can see why so many people like to filter their rainwater through the Berkey. Did a great job. Okay, I'm down here at the runoff creek, overflow creek, whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, we've got water flowing through here. We've got several outflow tubes here. People say, don't drink the water unless you know what's upstream. Trust me, you never know what's upstream. So you always have to treat the water, filter it, and purify it before you drink it. This is our next test for the Berkey. I did find a kind of a slow-moving area here. There's some junk here, tarp or something, I'm not sure what that is. Kind of a deeper area. I see some little fish swimming around here. I've got my bucket, and we're going to go ahead and just take whatever flows down this stream here and put it in the bucket. And I'll do my best not to fall in. There we go. And I'm going to grab that looks like a good 3 gallons of water there. Okay, so this is what we have out of our local drainage. This could be from lawns, it could be from, it's certainly not sewer, because it doesn't smell bad, but I don't know what it is. We'll go ahead and get it back to the house and run it through the Berkey. You can bank on the Berkey to not only filter, but purify this river water here so that it's safe for you and your family to drink. In an emergency, whether you're camping or every day. Okay, I've got the lid on it and I'm ready to go. I do have to say I'm not too excited to haul this out to my car and take it back to the house. But that's something you might consider in having your own rain capture system so you don't have to go out in public, out unprotected, in a situation where it may be dangerous. There could be a pandemic, there could be bad people around. But if you don't have to go out off your property and you can store your own water, then you don't have to do this. And then you don't have to haul it back. You may not have a car to do that. I do today. But if I had to walk this back to my house, it would take me a long time, and I would not be happy to do that. Okay, we get it home. As I was walking up the ditch, I was reminded when I was reading somebody's blog that the most dangerous thing that they did in their country that was in a situation where they didn't have rule of law was to go get water. Because that's where the people would hide out and shoot those getting water. So that's something else to consider. It'd be nice to have water, like we got these water totes here at our house, or 55-gallon drums, whatever. But here's our control water again. This is the city water out of the faucet, and this is the ditch water. And before I put it into my Berkey, I'm going to pre-filter that, and I'll show you how I do that. I have another 5-gallon bucket that I've taken just a t-shirt. I haven't cut it or anything, it's just a t-shirt, so it's 2 layers thick. These were convenient, so I just grabbed these to hold the t-shirt on there. I'm sure I could use a rope or string or some other method. You can never have too many 5-gallon buckets, is my theory. They always come in handy. So I'm going to take this water here, I'm going to run it through that filter, and I'm going to leave a little bit here in this bucket so we can see if there's a difference in the coloration after we filter it. I don't notice much difference in the color, but for sure, the first thing I noticed when I took the t-shirt off is that the water looks a lot cleaner. In other words, not debris floating around into it. That'll help extend the filter on the Berkey and help keep the inside of the container clean where the filters are. Alright, so I pre-filtered it. Now I'm going to go ahead and dump it into the Berkey. I don't know if you can see or not, but there is no water left in the tube. We've emptied that from yesterday, and so now it's time to put in the ditch water. My family keeps asking, what's in the Berkey today? Today it's ditch water, but they've been very happy with the filtration. No matter what kind of water we're putting in there, the Berkey can handle and does a great job filtering. So I'm going to go ahead and put the water in the Berkey right now, and we'll let it set for an hour and then do a taste test. After I poured the water and I glanced in and I thought, that doesn't look very good. So I thought I'd video it so you can see what it looks like. It doesn't look very appetizing, but let's see what it looks like after it's filtered. It has been approximately an hour since I put the ditch water in the Berkey. One thing I had not anticipated but have noticed is that with the dirtier water, it takes the Berkey longer to filter. I'm very excited to find that out. The reason is because that indicates to me the Berkey is doing a good job. It takes longer to filter dirtier water. That just simply makes sense. It's also something you should keep in mind if you're in a situation where you're having to use ditch water or not very clean water. You need to anticipate it taking longer to filter that water. But the water that I see in this level indicator looks really clean. I anticipate it tasting very good. So we'll give that a taste actually tomorrow when we have a group of people over here and see what they think of the water. Okay, so everybody is gone. We've got our preparedness meeting, and they drank the Berkey dry. There is no more water in here. Well, if I tip it, I can find some more water. There's probably about a quarter of an inch, maybe half an inch of water down inside of here. This is what it looked like before it drained. This is the top container. You can see all the sediment in there, even after I had filtered it through the t-shirt. And this is what it looks like in the filtered portion of the Berkey. You girls want to come over and take a look at and tell me what you think about what's in here? Take a smell.
Looks rusted. So does the dirt at the bottom. Looks like pond scum.
Would you drink that? Okay, so this is what it looks like in the glass. I don't know how well we can see this. This is the untreated, and these are the treated here. So why don't you go ahead and try the treated ones. Tell me what you think.
Love you, kids.
See you on the other side.
There you go, give it to the dog.
Excellent. Thanks for your help. Okay, I just got back from the neighbor's house, and he gave me 3 gallons of freshly treated swimming pool water. He said, I just treated it. You may not want to put this in your filter. I said, this is exactly what we want. We want the strongest smelling, strongest tasting swimming pool water we can find. I have the Berkey here just to show you that the top is completely empty and the bottom is completely empty. So we're gonna...
I don't know that we really need to watch the rest of that. He's just gonna filter the pool water, which looked clean anyway, it just had chemicals in it. And he gives it to his kids and they said it just tastes like Berkey water. So that's pretty much what goes on the rest, but you get the idea. I don't think I would want to do that.
So what's in the pool water? What chemicals do you think they're using?
Well, I don't know what kind of pool they had,
Okay.
whether it's just chlorine or whether it's a saltwater pool. I don't know what he had. We have a saltwater pool, which we don't add chlorine to it, but we still add chemicals to it.
Okay.
So what he had, I don't know, but.
Yeah, and if you had kids, you can imagine what else is in there.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it probably would filter that out.
Would it filter seawater?
I would think so. I don't see why it wouldn't. Yeah. Maybe the salt would clog your filters quicker.
Can I ask you a question? Where in the Sam heck we gonna find seawater over here, bro?
Well, nobody goes for the
Maybe he's on the West Coast.
Maybe he
You
goes to
might
Florida.
never know where you're gonna drive to get water.
I wouldn't go to the coast. It's in a horrible situation.
Okay.
Usually you heard of desalination plants and
Oh,
do
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Question?
Can you backflush those filters like the other ones?
I don't know, you have a Berkey.
Yeah, they're open.
I don't remember seeing a back flusher in here. I think you just have to buy new filters.
So theoretically, those Berkey filters will, I mean, the pool water seems less toxic than the stuff from the sewer drain.
Well, that wasn't sewer though, that
Yeah.
was
Just a
ditch.
Yeah.
And that would be more organics, you know, plant material, fish stuff.
Could be agricultural runoff.
There, it could be, yeah. And the Berkey I'll do more at, you know, cleaning out chemicals and stuff than say like this.
Yeah.
This I wouldn't want to do chemicals. This is, excuse me, this is supposed to get chemicals, but you know, if it's like fuel, gasoline or something, I don't think I'd even want to try that. So,
Do you know about viruses on Berkeley? Does it, another question that you probably have to look up.
viruses, I don't remember. There's the Berkey. You know, I think it does. I think the
Okay.
Berkey does do viruses.
All right.
Where's the oxidase at?
Which one there?
Okay, I don't see like a backwasher or anything in here, so you must just have to
I think you
change
just
your
replace
filters.
them.
You know. Yeah, I don't see a backwasher on here.
I don't think you can backwash.
And I can't remember how many gallons, maybe you can look on there and see how many gallons it actually filters. But there again, you know, if you filter your water before you filter your water, you know, filter the sediment out with the coffee filter, whatever, your filters are gonna last a heck of a lot longer than if you don't. You don't have to, but you know, if you want to, the Berkey filters are actually pretty expensive. If you buy the Alexa Pure, those filters are not as expensive, and then there's another knockoff brand that's like this that's even less expensive. So, and then there are companies that make Berkey filters that's not made by Berkey, but maybe, you know, and they're cheaper than the actual Berkey filters. Whether they're as good as the actual Berkey filters, I don't know, because I've never really used ours. We just have it just in case of the emergency or it comes up. Any other questions or anything anybody wants to say before we
Is
move on?
Pure Well one of the knockoffs you were just talking about?
Pure Well, yeah, that was one of them, yep.
That's extremely, well, a lot cheaper than the other one.
Yeah. And, you know, it might be thinner stainless steel. I don't know. The filters might not be as good. I don't know. Whatever they claim on their website that they do, hopefully they're being truthful about it. But these have been around a long time, and they've had good reviews for as long as they've been around. So that's the one that I recommend if Berkey ever comes back into production.
Cheap. But if you want it on cheap, there are actually plans online of how to make them, like
Yes.
a 5-gallon bucket.
Yep, there are. You
Yeah.
can make
You
the
just have to buy
filters
the
yourself.
filters and a few parts, and then
Yep.
you can make them, and it's cheaper than buying them.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. Okay, repurposing wash water. Fill a large bowl or pot with water for washing hands. This is, you know, you go to the river or whatever and you bring home, you know, 3 5-gallon pails of water, and you're gonna use at least half of it for drinking or 2/3 of it for drinking or whatever. And you need to use, let's say, 1 5-gallon bucket for washing hands, washing your face, or whatever you're gonna do. What I suggest is for washing your hands, and the reason I suggest is because when we find ourselves, if we find ourselves in a situation like this where we're gathering water from the ditches, you know, if things are that dire, you're probably not going to be able to get to the doctor. You know, there's probably not going to be a clinic open. There's probably not going to be a pharmacy open to go and get, you know, antibacterial ointment to put on a scratch or a cut or whatever. So good hygiene is going to be really, really, really important at that time. So you need to wash your hands more. You know, we use our hands to put our food in our mouths, and we introduce bacteria into our body all the time. Well, if we're in a situation like this, and maybe you're not eating quite as well as you were before, and you're stressed because of the situation that's going on, and you're working a lot more because you have to go gather water and food now, you know, than you didn't have to do before. So illness is more likely to set in, and you're probably not gonna be able to get to the doctor. So washing your hands and practicing good hygiene is gonna be really important. So to save on wash water and still be able to wash your hands a lot, fill a large bowl or pot with water for washing your hands, and instead of dumping it out each day or each time you use it, use soap each time, but then in the morning, boil that same bowl of water, and you can use that for several days using this method, and it'll save you a lot of water, but you'll still be able to have clean hands and not introducing bacteria into your body. For water storage, have enough stored water to last at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks isn't very long if stuff really, you know, we really get an SHTF situation. 2 weeks isn't very long for water. But if you have 2 weeks of stored water, it's at least going to get you through that 2 weeks until you can make a plan to get water somewhere or to go out and search for water. We have a river by our place, so, you know, we thought, you know, if anything ever happens, we've got a source of water all the time. But you know what? It's a pretty good river too. It's the Rum River, and it's got pretty good volume of water in it. But 2 years ago, when we had that drought start, you could see the river bottom.
There wasn't much flowing.
You can't always count on what you think. You know, you might think, well, I've got a pond out back, or I've got, you know, the creek, or I've got whatever. If we have drought, you might not have that. So have a backup plan always about, you know, like we thought we could depend on that river, and Mother Nature showed us that we might not be able to depend on that river. We might have to find where there's some other natural water source around us, or maybe we need to make a water catchment system like that guy had on the video. So don't just plan for one means of collecting water. You know, have that tarp. We might not get rain. You know, you might have your water catchment system and think, I'm all set. Well, what if we don't get rain? You know, like this last summer. We didn't get rain all summer, and then fall came and the gardens were all done, then we got rain, right? So water catchment wouldn't have done us a lot of good this year. So have, you know, at least 2 or 3 ways of in your head of how you're going to get water. So at least have.
Oh, the filters are rated, each filter for roughly 3,000 gallons. This is a travel size for a gallon and a half, but depending on how dirty the water is. But otherwise, if it's somewhat fairly clean, yeah, 2 filters, 6,000 gallons.
So you would probably want to, and we need to do that, is get, you know, a backup supply of filters. Because if that's only going to last us for 3,000 gallons, who knows how long we're going to depend on it. You know, you might want to have a backup supply.
What consumption should you assume per person daily?
Well, your daily for water intake, for like me, is 3 quarts a day.
But they want you to plan on more than what you just drink, because you're going to be washing your hands and everything. And so when they say plan per person, at the minimum a gallon per person a day, at the minimum. Because if you think about how much water you use every day, you know, we use water to prepare our food. You know, we might have to cook potatoes or something and we need water. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say the Red Cross recommends 2 gallons per day per person. So.
Yeah, and that seems really kind of low.
That would be like 1 gallon for drinking and cooking, and the other gallon for cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for human consumption, just what your body is, daily intake is 3 quarts a day of water. Which seems like a lot.
Well, and then, like Penny said, we need some for whatever else we're doing, brushing our teeth, you know, washing our face.
Washing dishes.
Washing dishes,
Oh, we
cooking
won't have to
food.
wash dishes, baby. Just
Yeah.
let it stack on the
We have,
It's
we
stacked
bought
up
a
in
big
corner,
supply of
all
paper plates.
Just scrape the plate.
Really?
Set them outside, they blow away, there, dishes are done.
Honestly, we have a huge supply of paper plates,
Yes.
because if something like this happens, it's less water we need. We've got a huge supply of paper plates, just for the two of us. We've got plastic utensils, whatever you can think of, like the
Bowls, whatever.
cups. Yeah, we have bowls, you know. We're gonna have something that we need a bowl. I'm gonna make some, I used to call it hobo stew, you know, when we were kids. We go camping, we make hobo stew. So bowls, but that's something good to have on hand too, because you use less water just, you know, using those paper plates and plastic utensils.
And you can burn the plates, it's a boil
For
of
heat.
water.
Yeah, you can use it as kindling to get your fire started, right?
You get headaches for being so smart.
So at least 2 weeks of stored water, if you can. And I know some people live in apartments, and you know, how am I going to store that much? If you go to Walmart and you buy a pack of water, and you're just a single person, that one pack of water will probably last you 2 weeks, right? Because what's in those big packs of water?
32 bottles.
32. So that would probably be enough to last you 2 weeks, or get 2 or 3 of them, because you're going to need some for washing and stuff too. But you know, even if you live in an apartment, shove a couple of those big packs of water underneath your bed, you know, or up on top of the refrigerator. But just keep it out of the sunlight.
And rotate them.
And rotate them, yeah. So store-bought water is a good way to store water, especially if you have like an apartment or something. We have, we have a couple of these that we store water in. That's what this is made for. It's food grade, and we put water in here, and we empty it every 6 months and put fresh water in there, and you use the, like I said, 8 drops of bleach per gallon of water, and this is 7 gallons? 7 gallons. So we have 2 of these, plus we have our water heater, like I was talking about, plus we have a river by our house. We have the means to make water catchment if we need to. We don't want it sitting out there right now, but if we need to. So we have backups to backups for water right now, and we always keep either 1 or 2 packs of the bottled water too. What was I gonna say?
Oh, you can get from Menards, they've got 4-gallon plastic jugs of water too.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be probably easier to store than even the bottled water. Just getting the big jugs of it.
Where do you get those blue tanks at?
So that would, you can get these actually in St. Cloud here. Where do you get them?
We
Dick's
got
Sporting Goods?
Dick's Sporting,
Dick's
probably
Sporting Goods?
get
Yeah.
Shields or anything like
Or
that.
you can order it on Amazon for $14.97.
Or Walmart.
Walmart,
Yeah.
yeah, Walmart
Yeah.
has one. Actually, $15.92 up at, or $14.97 at Walmart. Amazon $15.92 and up. Yeah, just make sure you get like food grade plastic.
It says, you know, don't use milk jugs and stuff. What about the jugs for distilled water?
Yeah,
That you could store what?
yeah, because that's what it was for, is water, so that's what it had in it. So it didn't have introduced bacteria in it already.
Okay.
So these were good. Anything that was made for drinking water, food grade plastic. Some people go to like bakeries. Bakeries get those big 5-gallon pails for their icing or whatever. Just, you know, make sure you clean that out really good and sanitize it. Were you gonna say something, Sharon?
Oh, you say, yeah, if you want to grow a garden, you use it for you grow your vegetables or something.
Yeah, you can grow vegetables
Yeah,
some too.
some restaurants will give you their buckets.
Yeah,
People
well, that's why
buckets.
I said the bakery, they have
The biggest thing is it's better to dump water out than wish you had it.
Yeah, that's
And
why
you gotta change it out.
you do need to rotate it. This guy said he had it sitting in his, well, he puts it through his Berkey, so I guess it's okay, but I would let my water storage sit for 5 years. I guess I just wouldn't, but.
Could you put a couple of drops of bleach in there?
I figured
You could just add more bleach to it. I guess, because we don't have the big ones, it's not such a hassle, but if you have one with a spigot in it, it's not hard to hook up a hose and just let it run in the garden or something and then just fill it back up, you know, maybe once a year, the big ones. These we usually do every 6 months, or I try to do it
You
every
can get
6 months.
55-gallon food grade
Yeah.
drums too.
So that's my next one on here, 55-gallon water storage barrels. Amazon has them for $149.98 and up, and Walmart has them for $105.79 and up. So that's a 55-gallon. Get 2 of those and you're probably good for a little while anyway.
And you gotta be able to get the water out of them.
Well, you need a spigot, yeah.
Well, not necessarily, you can do a siphon tube.
Oh, you could do that too.
Or you can buy, I found stainless steel, hand pumps
Yep,
that you can get, you could use those, screw it on there and then crank it.
yeah. Yeah, so you do need a means to get it out. Canning jars, you know, if you don't have any of these right now and you want to get some water stored, you've got canning jars sitting around, use some canning jars. Put some water in them and put them up in the cupboard or down in the basement or whatever. You know, if you've got a case of canning jars, that's 32 ounces per jar if it's a quart, right? 32 ounces in a quart.
Yeah.
You know, that'll get you for a while. Sanitized glass jars from pickles, something like that. You don't want to use stuff that had meat in it or that, but sanitized glass jars from pickles. Do not use empty plastic milk, juice, or jugs like that, because that will introduce bacteria into your water and it will grow and you will get sick.
Question.
Yeah.
What if you use, now you said distilled bottles, or like if you have the plastic jugs, like you buy some spring water from the store and
Yeah.
you fill it with tap water and then cap it back up?
Yep.
Oh, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those kinds of plastic, even this kind of plastic does degrade, especially if you have something sitting in it,
Yeah.
like water or whatever. So if you were to use something like that, I wouldn't leave it for years, you know,
Okay.
but if you're gonna store something in it for 6 months or whatever,
Alright.
and maybe empty out and get a new one, you know, every 6 months, because that type of plastic will degrade and go into your water.
Can you filter that water then?
You can filter any water.
But what, could you just filter that water?
Oh,
and
to get the
be-
plastic out?
Yeah, and be safe.
Probably.
And be safe.
You probably could. I haven't researched on what everything that these take out, but I know there's a lot of plastic junk in even our drinking water. You know, I mean, if you were to take ditch water or lake water, we use so much plastic in our society now that plastic is in everything. So if they're saying that water from a Berkey is safe to drink, I'm assuming that it's taking that plastic out, plastic residue or whatever it gives off. Food grade 5-gallon pails, already talked about that, but you can get them from Amazon. They sell 6 for $57.99.
Well, there's another option for people in apartments, is you can get these bladders that'll fit in a tub. And if you have the time, you know something's coming, you can just fill that up and have your tub full of water too.
Yeah, it fits inside the tub, so you're not
Yeah.
using your dirty tub water to drink.
Yeah, hold it in there, yeah.
Yep, if you know something's coming. Yep. So recommended items, and then we will be done. Solar water heater thermos, that's what this is. Howard and Sharon actually got us this. I can't remember how to open it. They work really slick. Don't force it. So this is a solar panel with a thermos.
Parabolic mirrors.
So you put your water in here, and you set this outside in the sun. And the last time I did the preparedness class, we left it set out for maybe an hour, because I did this at church too. And we let this sit out during church, and then right after church we had a preparedness class. And when I poured the water out of here, I couldn't put my fingers in it. It was that hot. I don't think it will actually boil water. So, you know, to purify water in this, I don't think it will. But if you need hot water for cooking or, you know, washing your face, whatever you need hot water for, making a cup of tea or something, and usually you do use boiling water for that, but it still works. You know, making a cup of coffee quickly, these work really slick. Like I said, I couldn't put my fingers in it, and that's just in an hour. And that wasn't even in the summer. That was the fall when it was so cool outside. But direct sunlight works really slick. They used to have like 3 different companies that made these, and now I could only find it with Sun Kettle. Is that what this is?
Oh, is that what it's called?
No, this was Sun Rocket. So this company must not have made it through COVID, I guess. But Sun Kettle, and they're not cheap. They're I found the Sun Kettle one that looked like this for $67 on Amazon. Another thing I recommend is cast iron pots for cooking and boiling water safely on fire pits and grills, because that's going to be a good way to cook your food if you can't use your stove, is a fire pit or a grill, but you can't use your regular utensils on something like that. So you're going to want some cast iron.
Dutch oven. Dutch oven.
Yeah, Dutch oven, a frying pan. In fact, well, I'll get to that. Water filters, as I mentioned above, and I can't stress enough, get one of these and put it in your vehicle or your purse. Even if it's just one for each person. So water filters, as much water as you can store, rotate your stock every 6 months. Coffee filters, just buy some coffee filters. They work great for pre-filter to get rid of the debris. Matches and lighters. If you're going to depend on fire to purify water, which I do, that what they didn't talk about on there was once your water is through here, I personally would still want to boil my water. I would just feel better, because I would probably be freaked out the first few times I drink ditch water from this and wait for myself to get sick, and I probably would make myself sick worrying I was going to get sick, you know what I mean? And then I wouldn't know if it was from my stress or if it was from the water. I'd have to use him as a guinea pig. If he didn't get sick, then it was okay. Right? Then I would know it was my stress making me sick, is what I'm saying. I would use him.
That's why I'm here.
Wow, wake up.
So, if possible, even bad water that I take out of the ditch or a lake, I would probably still boil once I was done putting it through here. None of those people said that we needed to do that, but I would feel better.
I read it. Now I haven't double checked this, but if you had water like in a pop bottle from like a decent pond, and you put it on your roof or in the sun all day long for like 10, 12 hours in the 90 to 100 degree heat, that can.
What else does it do? What do they tell you not to do with your water bottle when you have it in your car?
Not to drink it.
Not to drink it, because the plastic leaches into your.
Leaches.
So you might be getting rid of the.
If it's life or death. I mean.
It is, right.
Survivor Man even used one of those bottles to boil water like that, but he just left it over the flame. And he goes, once you see bubbles, it's clean.
You should boil for at least 1 minute. They really suggest 2 minutes.
Anyway,
yeah. So if I'm boiling water in here for 2 minutes, I'm probably melting the plastic. And I might not die tomorrow. I might not get diarrhea and die of dehydration tomorrow. But I might, a month later, I might be getting sick from eating melted plastic. Okay, matches and lighters. Get the big boxes of matches, I don't know how many come in there, but do that and put them away somewhere, and not something that you use every time you go out and light your grill. Put them away, and probably more than one box. And lighters, I don't know how many lighters we've bought over the last few years just to put away. We also have those barbecue lighters that have that on the stick. Those work really good.
Do those have a shelf life?
I don't know. We had some lighters in our drawer for about 15 years, 10 or 15 years, and I actually threw them away because there was only a little bit of stuff in them. But when I flicked the Bic, it worked.
Okay.
So, fire pit. If you have the ability to put a fire pit in your backyard, I recommend doing that so that you don't have to do it if this ever happens. And you can use it for fun in the summertime. We did it.
Yes, we did.
This fall, we were going to camp out for a whole day and just use our preparedness stuff.
A whole day?
A whole day.
Oh my
Can you
goodness.
believe that? But we were gonna collect water, we were gonna do the whole works, nothing from the house other than our preparedness stuff that we had.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a chance to do that, but in the fall we did, and we'll probably do that next summer.
Yeah, yeah.
We did build a fire pit, it was, what was it, 36 inches wide, square?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then like 2 feet tall,
Yep.
2 bricks tall.
Yeah.
So we used foundation blocks, right?
Right.
Foundation blocks.
8-inch box.
And so then it was cheap. I mean, they still cost money, but it's pretty cheap. It worked really well. What we did was we left a gap. We left a gap in between the blocks as we, laid the blocks out. We
The
left a
blocks had
gap
holes, so.
about every other block. We left a gap so that the bottom of the fire pit got air too. So it wasn't just at the top. And it got hot really fast. It did a really good job.
It was windy.
But we probably could have had a smaller gap
Well,
because the fire shut.
Fire shut down a lot behind.
Made a rocket
You
ship.
rolled the blocks so that the cores were facing.
The cores
fire.
were old.
Yeah.
You made a rocket stove.
Yes, yes, we did. It was windy.
It was,
Good practice session.
it was really good though, but yeah, I would next time make the gaps a little bit smaller, but
And we cooked
in a
them.
half an hour, we had pork chops and baked
Baked beans.
beans.
Yep.
And they were done and they were thick pork chops, so
That's
it was
fine.
really good. We used our cast iron skillets and, cast iron Dutch oven. Worked really well. But so, something that you can do ahead of time so that if the emergency comes up, your power goes out, you've got it made already, And you can still use a barbecue.
So if you use a cast iron, what we did was, we had some cast iron grates.
And fence posts.
And we used T-post
Yeah.
across
To hold them up.
off the
Yeah.
flame.
So you've got something to set your pans on.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have a really good hot mitt and a long one.
Yes.
Or something to pull the pan over to you. It was awesome. That was really good. We had a good time.
So it rained.
And then it started raining. We had to go in.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to roast our marshmallows.
No, we didn't.
Regular bleach. Regular bleach sitting on the shelf only lasts about 6 months and then it starts to degrade. So in order to purify your water, you need full strength bleach. So buy a jug of bleach just for your water purification, but buy the smallest one you can get because it only takes 8 drops per gallon. You'll go through not very much. Okay, you don't need a big gallon of bleach to purify your water for a while. By the time you got through that jug, it wouldn't be strong enough to do your water anymore. So buy a small jug, keep it somewhere, don't use it, keep it for your water purification, and when you buy it, write with a magic marker the day that you stored it or the day that you bought it. So then you can keep an eye on it and you know when to go and buy another one and replace this one. You can still use this one for clothing or cleaning or whatever, but it's not gonna purify your water the way you need it to anymore.
Is that once it's opened, or is that just in general?
That's in general.
Okay.
That's chlorine bleach degrades quickly. Yeah, even in a swimming pool. That's why you have to keep adding it, keep adding it. And you don't go in the pool right after you add your chemicals, but you can go in within an hour because then that bleach has actually already degraded enough that it's not going to hurt you anymore.
Okay.
Can you use the powdered chlorine for pools? Seems like that wouldn't have the shelf life problem.
There are people that do that, and I have also seen videos where people suggest not doing that because of something, and I can't remember what that was. It doesn't degrade as fast, you're right.
The
But
chemical composition's different in that.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I do have kind of an add-on to segue onto that. In the military, we had these, I can't remember what type of tablets they were, like iodized or.
Iodine?
Yeah, and after so many days or a week of that, it starts to affect your gut with the good E. coli and you get a gut ache. But the Israelis have these tablets, they're made from chlorine, and some of the reviews on there, their army uses it, and you could put 1 or 2 in like really bad water and let it sit for 30 minutes and you're good to go. It might not taste very well, but.
I actually have some of that in his.
Here, Bob, have a lifesaver.
Only because he sometimes is like 90 miles away from home. So, you know, I tried to give him backup after backup of water purification, whereas right now I'm usually, unless I go somewhere other than work, I'm usually within 10 miles from home. So I don't need as much backup as he does, but I want him to get home because I'm not cutting all that firewood by myself.
So your hair fell off the first time from one of those. And it grew back. I'm gonna take a look.
But it tasted like murky water.
So regularly you go again. See, that's why I laughed the other night on the net. Jim asked me, was it Jim that asked me what made me laugh the other? No, it wasn't Jim, it was Troy. What made me laugh the other night was whenever they're at our house and I do the net, that's what happens. Somebody does something and I think they do it on purpose. I'm sorry, Randy, it's not my fault. They're always in the room with me.
We know that when we hear background voices.
He's got a hook on that thing now.
It's all three of them gang up on me. Okay, so we'll end this now. Always carry some drinking water with you when traveling more than a couple miles from home. But I want to back up on that even, because sometimes I go out and I'm just going to run down to the grocery store in town, which is 2 miles away, right? I really don't need to carry water with me. If something happens, I can make it 2 miles without water. But sometimes something happens and, oh, you know what, I should probably go there while I'm out, you know? So now I'm 5 miles away from home versus 2 miles away from home. And if it's 90 degrees out, 5 miles, especially for some of us that are getting a little older and we don't retain the moisture in us anymore, 5 miles in 90-degree weather can be pretty tough. So even if you're going to go a couple miles, throw a bottle of water in your vehicle. Don't let it sit in the sun, but throw a bottle of water in your vehicle. If it's really hot in the summertime, you probably don't want to keep it in there, but always take water with you wherever you go. I do, don't I, Bob? I always have water with me. He always has pop. I always have water.
It's water-based. It has sugar.
Because you never know when something might happen. You may have to walk for some ways to get home or to safety. That's it for tonight. I hope we gave you some really good information that you can use. Take these with you, keep them, and it's hard, if you haven't done any prepping yet, it's hard just to do everything at once, but do the most important thing first. Maybe first thing you do is you go to Walmart or Shields or wherever and pick this up tomorrow and put it in your vehicle. Other than that, you can just kind of work at it little by little. That's what we did.